The hummingbird was closer to the window than it had ever been. It was quite a beauty. I imagined what it would be like to be a hummingbird gliding from flower to flower, quite literally stopping to smell the flowers on the highway of life. Then I remembered that hummingbirds can't actually smell. How cruelly ironic. Imagine having an existence that is all about flowers, but you are forever doomed to never be able to smell them. It's like a curse straight out of mythology. What could a hummingbird have done to warrant the wrath of gods like that? How is no one talking about it? Mr. Nelson, boomed the voice of the teacher. I have a question for you. There it was. The attention of the class was on me again. Mr. Williams was going to ask me a question, again. While serving no useful purpose in survival, they have nevertheless been a part of you since recorded history. How have you personally come to terms with the knowledge that as a human male, you are forever doomed to have the largely purposeless apparatus of nipples? I sighed with the subtlety of a wrecking ball going through a castle of porcelain. Everyone's eyes were on me. Mr. Williams' big, round eyes were even more big and round, which I knew only happens when his kind becomes especially curious. Or aroused. I chose to believe it was the former. Well, I started to form words. I never had a problem with mine. I don't really think about them so much, you know, like, I go through many days in a row without really, ever thinking about them. They are just, kinda there. Fasciating, enunciated Mr. Williams with a sound that was quite unworldly, and I could only liken it to a reptilian hiss. You focus your mental faculties on the menial and mundane tasks of everyday life and don't let the burden of the knowledge of the futility of the nipples make you despondent. Ah, yes, I try to live in the moment. You humans are curious beings. There were many more reptilian hisses of amazement all around, led by Mr. Williams. I was one of the few humans chosen for the experimental exchange program between Earth and V428. Quite a while ago, Earth was made a member of the Frontier Reconnaissance of Intergalactic Educational Norms Department, or FRIEND. Since then we have been sending humans to schools on V428 and the Virals to schools on Earth to observe and learn from each other. Virals even made the effort of making some locales, the ones where humans reside, to look more like Earth, including a functioning ecosystem, full of birds and flowers and insects. Virals were fairly humanoid with bluish-green skin, smooth as glass, and big black eyes. As I sat back down, one of my Viral classmates, a female, which was evident to me due to several physical markers I spent hours learning about when I first learned that I was selected for the exchange program, who was seated next to me, leaned towards me and whispered, "I want to taste your brain." Our translator machines did a fairly decent job of translating our languages for each other. But there were some words in the Viral language that simply didn't map onto English, which, embarrassingly enough, was the only language I spoke, and vice versa. This was one of those moments where one wouldn't know whether to be flattered or terrified. Having been on their planet for quite some time, I knew that she just wanted to know more about how my human brain functioned. She wanted to consume the information that originated in my brain. Probably. Is it true that humans enjoy ingesting food that causes suffering? Oh, I know what you are asking. Yes, we love spicy food. Is it true that you humans like moving your bodies to organized sounds? Yup, we love our dancing. Is it true that humans tend to exploit their planet, fellow humans, and other creatures for short-term gains while ignoring the long-term consequences of their actions? Do you personally follow such behavior patterns? No, I don't think so. At that point, I drew my gaze away and fidgeted with my pen uncomfortably while being well aware that her eyes were fixed upon me. "Then you and I can be allies. Welcome." I slowly lifted my head and tried to look back at her. Her eyes were big and round, much like Mr. Williams a short while ago. And it only meant one of two things. I smiled, tentatively,